Welcome back. You were looking at Predictive Question 2 of our PMP and CAPM certification series, and if you made it here from episode 1, you already have one powerful tool in your exam arsenal, the ability to listen for those critical scenario keywords and use them to select the right project approach. That is not a small thing. That is the foundation everything else is built on, and today we are going to build on it. Episode 2, the change control process, post-CCB approval steps. Think of this like a crime scene investigation. The crime has already happened, the evidence has been reviewed, the verdict has been delivered. The question is no longer whether the change is approved, it is what do you do the second that gavel comes down? That is exactly what we are here to dissect. But before we get into the scenario, let's first understand what is at stake today. Take a look at today's focus. 3 objectives, and each one is, a weapon for your exam day. A, understanding the immediate next steps after CCB approval. B, mastering the chronological order of integrated change control. C, avoiding common exam trap options. Now, that third one deserves a moment of its own, because the trap options in this type of question are not obviously wrong. They are dangerously right-looking. They describe actions that are completely valid, just performed at the completely wrong moment in the process. The exam is not testing whether you know the steps, it is testing whether you know the order. And that distinction has failed a lot of candidates who were otherwise well prepared. So keep that in mind as we work through this together. With that framing locked in, let's talk about why change control even matters in the first place. Changes happen on every single project in the real world. A stakeholder walks in with a new idea, a client shifts their vision mid-build, a regulatory requirement changes overnight. Change itself is not the enemy. Uncontrolled change that bypasses documentation, communication, and formal approval, that is the disaster. In predictive project management, every change must pass through a strict structured gate, and that gate is the change control board. Now that we understand the stakes, let's step inside the scenario. The change control process. Here is your scenario. Read it carefully. During the execution phase of a software development project, a key stakeholder requests a change to add a new feature. Following the change control process, the request has just been approved by the Change Control Board, the CCB. Lock that last sentence into your mind. The request has just been approved. Not submitted, not under review, not pending. Approved. The CCB has already spoken. You are standing at the moment immediately after the verdict. So, what are we going to do next? Let's look at the options one by one and work through the logic together. Option A, communicate and update. Communicate the outcome to all relevant stakeholders and update the changelog. Picture the scene. The CCB meeting just adjourned, the room clears, you as the project manager are the first one out the door because you have work to do. Your immediate duty is twofold. First, you pick up the phone or send that message and you tell the people who need to know that this change has been approved. The stakeholder who requested it, the team who will execute it, the people whose schedules and budgets will be touched by it. Second, you open that changelog, the living, breathing historical record of every decision made on this project, and you document the outcome formally. This is the standard, non-negotiable procedure the moment a CCB decision is formalized. It is clean, it is immediate, it is exactly what a professional project manager does. Now, let's see if any other option can challenge that. Option B, implement immediately. Implement the approved change immediately to ensure there are no delays in the project schedule. This one's seductive, isn't it? The change is approved, why wait? Just build it. But think carefully about what happens if you skip straight to implementation without updating your baselines, without adjusting your project documents, without formally communicating the scope and parameters to the team. You create a ghost change, approved on paper but invisible in your project records. Your schedule baseline still reflects the old plan. Your cost baseline still shows the old numbers. Your team is building something that your documents have not yet acknowledged. That is not efficiency. That is chaos dressed up as urgency. We communicate and document first, then we implement. Option B jumps a critical step, so we move on. Option C, review impact. Review the impact of the change to your schedule and cost. Now, this one sounds completely logical. And in isolation, it absolutely is. Impact analysis is a critical step in the change control process. But here is the fatal problem with selecting this as your next step. It already happened. Imagine a judge sentencing someone before the evidence has even been presented. That is essentially what this option is asking you to do in reverse. It's asking you to analyze impact after a decision has already been made based on that very analysis. The CCB cannot approve or reject a change without first understanding what it will cost and how long it will take. The impact review happens before the change reaches the CCB, not after. Option C is out of sequence, and on the exam, out-of-sequence answers are eliminated. That brings us to our final contender. Option D, reprioritize backlog. Reprioritize the product backlog to include the new feature. Stop. Stop right there. The moment you see the words product backlog, a red flag should shoot up in your mind, because a product backlog is an agile artifact. In an agile environment, the product owner manages and reprioritizes the backlog, and there is no CCB, no formal approval gate. But our scenario has explicitly told us we are operating inside the predictive change control process. Mixing agile tools into a predictive scenario, unless the question specifically identifies a hybrid approach, is one of the most common and costly mistakes on the exam. Option D does not belong in this framework. And with that, we have eliminated every alternative. And that brings us back to where we started. Option A, communicate and update, is our confirmed answer. After the CCB approves a change, your immediate next step is to communicate that outcome to all relevant stakeholders and update the changelog. Clean, documented, professional. That is the move. Now let's zoom out and make sure the full picture is locked into your memory. This 6-step sequence is absolutely gold for your exam, and you need to own every single step in order. Follow along on your screen. Step 1. Change request generated. A change is identified. Someone on the project, a stakeholder, a team member, an external party, formally requests a change. The moment it exists, it enters the system. Step 2. Logged in changelog, which means it immediately gets documented. Every change request, regardless of whether it will be approved, earns a line in the changelog. This is how you maintain visibility and, control from the very start. Step 3, impact analysis, scope, cost, schedule, risk. Before anyone makes a decision, you do the forensic work. How much will this change the budget? How many days does it add to the timeline? What risks does it introduce? This is the evidence the CCB needs to make an informed decision. And this is exactly why option C was wrong. It belongs here, not after approval. Step 4, CCB review, approve, reject, or defer. The evidence goes before the board. They deliberate. They decide. Approved, rejected, or deferred for a later date. The moment that decision is made, the clock starts on Step 5. Step 5, communicate outcome and update logs and baselines. This is the step our question tested, and now you know exactly why it comes here. The verdict is delivered. You communicate it immediately and update every relevant document. The changelog, the scope baseline, the schedule baseline, the cost baseline. Everything is now aligned and visible. Step 6, direct implementation. Only now, after communication, after documentation, after baselines are updated, do you direct the team to go build it. This is the right moment for action, and not a single step before. That is the sequence. That is the discipline. Master that flow and you will navigate any change control question the exam throws at you with complete confidence. Speaking of which, coming up in Episode 3, we are diving into scope management, specifically what comes immediately after you create your project scope statement. It's a deceptively simple process question that consistently catches candidates off guard, so make sure you're there. Keep pushing, keep practicing, and I'll see you in the next one.